The power goes out at 8 in the evening, and by midnight your phone is nearly dead and your freezer is starting to warm. Meanwhile, 20 feet from your front door, sitting in your driveway with a full tank of fuel, is a machine that could have kept your lights on, your fridge cold, and your furnace blowing warm air the entire time. Most people never realize it. Your car is not just a car. Under the hood, bolted to the engine, is a small generator called an alternator, and it has been making electricity every single time you've driven anywhere for years. Here's the problem most families run into during an outage. The dark itself is manageable. You light a candle, you put on a sweater. What actually breaks people is hour 12, when the freezer stops holding its temperature and hundreds of dollars of food starts to turn. When the furnace has plenty of gas, but the little electric blower fan that pushes warm air through the house has no power to spin. When a well pump goes silent and there's no water for anything. The standard answer is a standby generator, and they work, but they're expensive, often $800 to a few $1,000s. And they have a habit of failing exactly when you need them most, because gas that sits untouched for a year gums up a carburetor, or because nobody thought to keep enough fuel on hand for a storm that also knocks out the gas station pumps down the road. What a lot of people miss is that the car in the driveway is already doing the hard part. It has an engine that can run for hours on the fuel already in the tank, and an electrical system that's been making usable power the whole time you've owned it. What it's missing is one small, inexpensive piece that turns that power into something your house can use. This isn't a new discovery. Long before most households were wired into the public grid, rural families who lived off-grid by necessity or by choice, running their own small engines, wind machines, and battery banks in the barn or cellar, understood electricity as something you make and store yourself, not something that simply arrives through a wire. When the rural electrification push of the 1930s strung power lines across the countryside, most farms happily connected, and that convenience is real. But it also meant an entire generation stopped needing to understand where their power came from. You just paid the bill. The knowledge of how to make and store your own electricity didn't disappear because it stopped working. It faded because there was no longer a daily reason to use it. Utility companies and generator manufacturers both have a straightforward business reason not to advertise, "You probably don't need us for a weekend." It's simply not in either industry's interest to teach you self-sufficiency. That's not a conspiracy, just an ordinary gap between what's profitable to teach and what's actually useful to know. So here's the logic behind why this works. Your car's alternator spins whenever the engine runs, and at a simple idle, it typically produces somewhere in the neighborhood of 500 to 700 usable watts, enough in most cases to run a refrigerator, which draws roughly 150 watts once it's humming, a chest freezer, some LED lighting, phone chargers, and often a furnace blower fan, though that one can pull anywhere from roughly 300 to 600 watts depending on the unit. The catch is that appliances draw a brief surge of several times their running wattage the instant they switch on, which is why you want some headroom rather than sizing an inverter to the bare minimum. The one piece most people are missing is a power inverter, a small device, generally in the ballpark of $150 to $200 for a solid, pure sine wave unit that converts the 12-volt DC power from your car battery into the 120-volt AC power your household appliances expect. Skip the cigarette lighter socket entirely. It's fused for a tiny fraction of what you need and will trip almost instantly. Instead, connect the inverter's heavy cables directly to the battery terminals under the hood, the same posts jumper cables clamp onto, positive to positive, negative to negative, short and thick cable runs to avoid losing power as heat. From there, run a heavy-duty outdoor extension cord, 12 gauge if you can find it, through a cracked window and plug your refrigerator, freezer, a power strip for phones and lamps. And if your furnace happens to plug into a wall outlet rather than being hardwired, the furnace itself straight into that cord. Running the engine continuously to do this is wasteful though, since a fridge or freezer only actually needs its compressor running roughly a third of the time. A more efficient approach many off-grid setups use is adding a deep cycle battery, the kind built for boats or RVs, roughly $100 to $150 as a buffer. Run the inverter off that battery instead of directly off the car, so appliances draw down slowly and quietly through the day. Then, a couple of times daily, connect the car battery to the deep cycle battery with heavy cable and let the engine idle for an hour or so to recharge it at full alternator output. That can stretch a full tank of gas across many days instead of one loud, constant running night, with far less noise and far less fuel burned. None of this is without real limits, and they matter. Never run the engine in a closed garage and keep the exhaust well away from any window you're feeding a cord through. Carbon monoxide is the one genuine danger in this whole setup, and deserves to be treated with real caution. Spend the extra money on a pure sine wave inverter rather than a cheap modified one, since sensitive electronics like furnace control boards and some newer refrigerators don't tolerate rough power well. And never use a regular starting battery as your storage buffer. It isn't built for deep discharge and will fail quickly. A deep cycle battery is the right tool for that job. At the end of it, for roughly the cost of one inverter and one battery, a fraction of what a standby generator runs, you have a backup power system built from something you already own, one you understand well enough to maintain yourself, sitting in your driveway right now. It won't run your whole house the way the grid does, but it will keep the essentials going quietly for as long as you can find fuel. The next time the lights go out, the question isn't whether you have a generator. It's whether you ever looked under the hood of the one you already own. That's the kind of practical knowledge Hidden Fix Lab exists to dig back up. Ready to move to the Hinglish, Urdu adaptation, and thumbnail brief whenever you want? Just say the word.